All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to week number 11. That is right, week number 11 of your 7314 reference class. As always, I am your professor, Dr. Jace K. Austin, and this week we are going to get into speaking about LibGuides a little bit. I actually recorded the check-in video last night. It is now Tuesday afternoon. I recorded it last night, and I was, suffice it to say, probably a little bit too harsh in some of the things I was saying in it due to some frustrations I'm having of my own. And so I apologize for that, but y'all will not see that version. I have decided to delete that and re-record and deliver my content a little nicer than I was last night. There is still some frustration, but I think I have a more appropriate way of expressing that frustration now. And that is just to say, when it comes to this LibGuide, and this is in no way intended to single out anybody, because while you all do know what's been said on the discussion area, the question and area, the question and answer area of the discussion board. You all do not know what I've been emailed, and I've been emailed some questions about this LibGuide as well. And I won't reveal what semester this happened, but I am going to say this. So first of all, I do need to say, try to enjoy this LibGuide assignment. Try your best to enjoy it. Try to sit down with it and learn the LibGuide creation process and just enjoy putting together your LibGuide. And I think that if you really sit down, give yourself some patience and look at some things, look at tips for how to create a great LibGuide, look at tutorials on YouTube for creating LibGuides and so forth and so on. And I think if you do that, then you will feel a little bit better and you will actually come to enjoy this assignment. Most students enjoy this assignment, actually. So I want that to be clear. Now, having said that, here's something that I need to make abundantly clear to this course, and that is, don't know what happened there, but what I need to make abundantly clear to this course is that what I have noticed, especially, and I won't say which semester because I don't want to identify any students that may be that may have been part of that cohort, but one thing that I've noticed is that people who overthink this LibGuide assignment tend to do worse on it than the people who just go in and Google around, find some tutorials, find some tips and tricks through Google, go to YouTube, watch tutorials, and just sit down and put the effort in. The people who go in with a can-do attitude and do it, they do just fine and usually enjoy the assignment. And the people who seem to struggle the most with this assignment are those who just overthink it, and therefore they get caught up in the minutia and they don't think about, the design, and they don't think about logical ordering of sources and that sort of thing. But the people who overthink the LibGuide and then get frustrated with having to do the assignment, they tend to be the ones who do the worst. And I will say that there was one semester, I won't say which semester it was, and I've taught the reference class every semester that I've been here since fall of 2018, with one exception. I did not teach it in the summer of 2020. So every spring and fall, and then the summer of 2019, I taught it, and I will teach it in the fall, and I will not have it in this summer. But I will say that there was one particular semester where, let me make it clear that I'm not forbidding y'all to ask questions. I'm not discouraging you all from asking questions. But there was one particular semester, I won't say which semester it was, where there was just this floodgate of questions on the discussion board. Like, it was only once out of all the semesters that I've taught this class that there was just like this floodgate of questions. The assignment has not changed. And so there was this flood of questions this one semester. Everyone had all of these really nitpicky small questions, and we're just analyzing the assignment to death on the discussion board. And I think there was kind of a snowball effect, like somebody asked a question, then everybody just wanted to ask questions, and it kept getting into a bigger and bigger snowball. And I even had a student in that section of the class suggest that I do like a live sync session for question and answer for the LibGuide, which I declined to do then, and I'm declining to do it now. It's not necessary. If I've taught this class 6 times and overall almost everyone gets an A, then then it's not as big a deal. But what happened with this one particular semester was there was just a snowball effect with everybody asking questions, and then they worked themselves up into a tizzy, and then they just turned in the worst LibGuides that I'd had. So what I'm going to recommend is just have a can-do attitude. Get in there, do it, say you're going to conquer this. Don't be discouraged. Don't be frustrated. Don't be distracted. And if you get in there with a can-do attitude, you'll kick this LibGuide's ass, I promise you. And there are librarians who put together a LibGuide in a day or two. You all are at the student level, so I'm not expecting that from you all. But still, you got your LibApps logins a month and a half ago, And for something that you might be expected to do in 2 days in professional practice, yeah, I will expect that within a month and a half you're able to get a decent LibGuide effort done. And I'm only asking for student level work here. I really am. You can be a pro at it if you want, but right now we're training. Right now we're learning. Okay. So you're not going to be evaluated the way a professional might be evaluated, but still, you got to go in and you got to do it. And I'm starting to, between my inbox and what's on the discussion board, I do see that the overthought may be starting up again. And if that overthought gets started, it is going to lead to worse LibGuide scores, not better LibGuide scores. I've seen it. Again, the people who just take the bull by the horns and do it, and learn how to do it and do it, they do great with it. And those who allow themselves to get frustrated and caught up in things, they struggle. So I want you all to own that and just relax. This is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be something that you enjoy once you get the hang of it. And I just want you all to give yourselves a chance to get the hang of it. I will say this, if you've learned Excel, if you have learned how to put web pages together in HTML, if you have learned Photoshop or InDesign or any of these types of software, then you can learn how to do a LibGuide. It is not, the learning curve on LibGuides is not as high as the Excel learning curve or as high as the InDesign or the Photoshop learning curve. So again, don't stress yourselves out about this. I have seen that with this assignment in particular, people who stress themselves out are the ones who do the worst. Okay. So with that said, we are going to just go into a few other things here. Give me one moment. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to do is actually show you all one of the LibGuides that I had in the past that got a really stellar grade, and I'm going to show you why it did. So let me get in here, and we're going to go to, yeah. All right. And I believe it was in my fall 19. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so this was a really good LibGuide. It didn't go knocking design and stuff out of the park, but it did a really good job with everything that it had in it. Again, this was from fall 2019, and my fall 2019 LibGuides overall were extremely incredible. So I knew that was the folder I wanted to come to for looking for an example of just one that could be helpful for you all to kind of look at. So first of all, you see, as far as design, nice landing image there, a welcome, a very short description. As you will see, most of these descriptions that this student included were pretty short. Also, I know that this is going to happen at least with 2 people because it happens every time, at least with 2 people. So the LibGuide rubric, and there is a rubric for this LibGuide, you all, so you all know exactly what I am looking for. But the LibGuide rubric does say keep the video as 3 minutes or less. Um,
Welcome, Missouri third graders, teacher.
I will not penalize, as you can see, this video is 3 minutes and 15 seconds. I will not penalize for going slightly over 3 minutes, but without fail, somebody goes in, despite the rubric saying 3 minutes or less, somebody goes in there and they create a 5 or 7 minute video. If you have something that's over, I will give a grace amount of seconds, maybe between 15 and 30 seconds. So 3 minutes and 15 seconds, I'm not going to count off of. But as you start getting closer and closer to 4 minutes, I am going to deduct points on the LibGuide for the video issue, because the rubric actually does state very blatantly less than 3 minutes. So keep your video concise, because you want to create something that will not alienate users with short attention spans, okay? But you'll see, again, the descriptions are short. She's got a landing image. She didn't include contact information, but that's fine. I didn't necessarily need her to do that. But this is where the contact information would be. And so you can see that if she wanted to add it there, she could. She does have horizontal tabs. Some of you might do better with vertical tabs. It depends on what your subject matter is. But then as you go into her different tabs, you'll see that she has the images in there, and the images look great and everything. If descriptions were too long, she cut them. She had the call numbers where appropriate, ISBNs, which are helpful. She has the links so they can be clicked. She added additional videos, which I gave her lots of points for, and these videos are appropriate. She actually tailored this for a third grade audience, which that was a nice extra thorough step on her part. But I'm not going to look at whether or not you are creating something that is specifically geared for a target audience. She did that, and that was great, but I'm not going to be evaluating on that, and so you won't see that in the rubric. But still, she kept her audience in mind. She got some extra videos. She has images where she can, and all of the sources that she puts under each tab and in each box are logical to where she has put them. So she did a really great job on this. This Explore Missouri thing that she did was a great touch. I was very impressed. Another video. So she really put together a banging LibGuide. Like, this is actually a professional level LibGuide, and I know that she doesn't have professional rank at her job, but she definitely put together professional level work here. So I was very impressed. So that was one that I wanted to show you, and this is something that students are capable of producing. But again, you just got to go in there and do it and not get discouraged. Another thing that I'm going to tell y'all is that one thing that you can do just to find good LibGuides is you can just search like best LibGuide designs, right? So you can do that, and then like if you put in best LibGuide designs, you'll see some LibGuide best practices here. LibGuide tips and tricks from SpringShare, which developed the LibGuide software, and as you can see, they have even some examples, but they got tips and tricks for y'all and everything. And if you click on the examples, you'll be taken to that LibGuide. So you see a nice, beautiful example here. Some of the descriptions, I actually looked at this last night when I did the video that I told y'all I'm not going to share. There are a few things that I don't like about this LibGuide that I don't think are good about it. One of them being that there are times when the descriptions in this particular one are just way too long. So you're going to want to make sure your descriptions are not too long. Another thing that you're going to want to do, because this is actually a LibGuide in and of itself that you're looking at right here for this 5 tips and tricks for designing LibGuides. This is actually a LibGuide. It's a vertically tabbed LibGuide as opposed to horizontal, which is why it may look different. But as you can see, boxes were created and everything. But in this case, one thing that you're not going to want to do that was done here is all this scrolling. So you're going to want to, for the purposes of accessibility, you're going to want to have as little scrolling wrapped up in this as possible. And there's way too much scrolling here. So keep that in mind. But yeah, you can Google best LibGuide designs or LibGuide best practices. And you can, and none of this is illegal. None of this is cheating. Just go out there. This is a discovery process, and you all are librarians in training, so you should want to do discovery because that is what a lot of your job is going to be, is discovery as a librarian. I'm just going to put it out there. If you don't like discovery, this is not what you want to do as a career. But yes, LibGuide best practices, you've got those listed out here. You can also go to YouTube and look for LibGuide tutorials. So you have that in your arsenal. Okay, so if I did LibGuide tutorials, a bunch pop up. You may want to avoid these things that are like 8 years, 9 years old, but something that's fairly recent. It can be very helpful for you to look at that and get some tips from that. And then also know that you will not be penalized for getting help from a librarian that you know, a coworker, or whoever. Getting help is okay. The problem is not getting help. The problem is you cannot have somebody do it for you. But if you just get some help, some advice, some feedback, that is perfectly fine, okay? So with that said, one thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to the rubric, and we're just going to look at that really quick. I'm just going to make sure you all know that the rubric is there, basically, so follow it. And if you have questions on whether or not something will fit a particular category, you can definitely ask me, and I will let you know. Okay, so I'm not going to spend too much time looking at this because you all have access to this, but this is the LibGuide assignment. Please note, again, there is an explicit rubric here. Okay? So actually, one of the first things I'm going to let you know is that I'm actually easing off of the actually I will edit this now. So I am going to ease off of the okay. So whatever topic you can have fun with, yeah, just go ahead and do it because I'm trying to create an environment where you all are having fun with this assignment as opposed to stressing out about it. So yeah, you can, if there's a topic that's of general interest to you outside of arts and music, terrorism, and everything like that. Did I say terrorism is there? Yeah. Economics, health information, genealogy. If you are interested in like doing something about a historical figure you like, or if you are interested in doing something about, you know, a sports team that you like, or whatever, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, it is totally fine. Do a topic that you like. It doesn't have to be some hardcore or specifically scholarly topic. Okay. And yes, put it in the 7314 Spring 2020 Austin group, please. All right, and it's going to count for 25 points in your final grade, so just know that it's going to be the case for a lot of points. Appropriate topic selected, target audience defined. So yes, I do have that. I guess that's a correction from earlier. I do have that target audience information in there. But target audience can be, you know, just like I know I showed you a LibGuide that was specific to third graders as a target audience, but the target audience can be just the general population. And that tends to be the target audience for most of the LibGuides that I've had submitted. In fact, one of the reasons that one stood out to me so strongly was because it had a clearly defined third grade target audience. At least 15 sources. Make sure that you have at least 15 sources. All resources are fully identified with citation, call numbers, and URLs when appropriate. You have various source types that you have to have included. Make sure you do that. Briefly, the sentences, you should only have like 1 or 2 sentences describing the resource that you're included, so that you have included. So Make sure that you are briefly describing the resources, and if they have excessively long descriptions, then crop the descriptions, please. Um, each source description allows the target audience to determine how it'll be useful for them, and provide some awareness of how to use the source. That's fine. Again, that will not require you to be very expansive in your description. Please do not go overboard because, again, you're probably dealing with people who have short attention spans. That tends to be the case. The LibGuide is professional in appearance and well organized, so I will be looking for design in that area. And then neither the LibGuide nor the tutorial have grammatical or style errors. The tutorial video, I prefer Screencast-O-Matic. If we scroll back up here, you have options of Jing or Screencast-O-Matic. I prefer Screencast, okay? It's much easier to use, and in fact, that's what I use to record these lectures. But there is a free version that you can use, whereas I have a paid version because my videos can go kind of long. All right, and then, yes, keep the tutorial video under 3 minutes, and the video can emphasize relevant source features or helpful information. All right, so that's what's expected of you. You know exactly what's expected of you, so try to produce exactly what is expected of you. All right, now what I'm going to do now is this will be the last thing that I do, and then I'm going to cut this short. I'm just going to, well, not cut it short because it's going to be about 30 minutes long or probably a little bit longer. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through some basics here in the LibGuide creation. So if I were to go to LibGuides, let me go back to the LibGuides homepage here. And then what I can do right here is I can go to create guide, create new guide, and I'm going to start fresh. I'm going to call this one Carolina Panthers. This is the example that I do every single time, actually. So the LibGuide about the Carolina Panthers. I'm expecting y'all to put in more effort than what I'm doing here. I'm just going in to show you quickly how some of the basics work, and that's it. You can leave this as general purpose, or if you want to go expert level, you can try to do the subject guide or the topic guide, but you don't have to do that. Again, assign it. Please assign it to the proper, because that's the only way I'm going to see it, is if you assign it to the proper folder, and that's going to be Spring 2021 Austin. Please do not use a password. Every semester, a few people do this password thing, and I'm not exactly sure why they do it. And then I have to track them down for their password so that I can even grade their LibGuide. That's an extra step I don't want to take. Please don't password protect it, at least not now. Maybe after you get your grade, that's fine. Okay, so now once you start up, you'll be brought to a page here. You can keep your contact information here. You can actually design it so that it appears on all the tabs if you want, and so forth. But I would like for you to put a picture here, and then even if you make up contact information, maybe put some contact information there as a nice touch. But I am not going to take off because there's nothing in the rubric requiring you to have that contact information there, so I'm not going to take off if it isn't there. So what you can do, you can have tabs vertically or horizontally, and you can look at different tutorials to show you how to do that. So let's see. For one tab, I'm going to have Carolina Panthers general information. And then maybe I'll just add another tab that says Carolina Panthers players. Okay. And so I've got a couple of tabs. Now I'm going to go back to my home tab, my landing tab. And for this box, let's do the Bank of America Stadium thing here. Create this box. And then if you want to create a landing image, then what you can do is you can go to Rich Text HTML, and you can come here to image, And yeah, we got an image already stored in here, so save. Okay. And actually, you click this little icon here, that'll bring this over here, Bank of America Stadium, okay. And then I am just going to do the save and close, because this is one I'm just kind of crudely constructing right now. Okay, and then you can create some boxes under that. This being the landing image, you may want to, if I were doing this seriously, I would probably crop this or create an image that isn't this long, well, that isn't this long vertically. Horizontally, this is good because you kind of want a rectangular image, but this one is a little too tall on the vertical end to be something that would work best for optimal design where you don't want people to have to scroll too much. I could add boxes here. For the sake of time, I'm not going to. I'm just going to go to this tab here. And then from this tab here, I am going to create a couple boxes. So let's say that I create a box for, let's say, and again, I'm just doing this very, very quickly right now. So this is very crudely constructed. I will be expecting something more professional from you all. Okay, Carolina Panthers books. All right. Okay, so I can go in and do that, and then I can add, for one thing, actually, I'll do this too. Relevant databases. So I actually got a question about this, and this is a good time to actually answer that question. So I got a question, and I get this question every semester. So I got this question by inbox, and I'm going to show you all right now what to do as far as adding your database. So adding your database, let's say that, and I'm going to go to Missouri.edu, and I'll do the Sport Discus database. So when adding your database, here's what you're going to have to do. And I get this question every semester, so it's a good question, and I'm going to go ahead and answer right now. What you will do when adding your database is you actually are going to add it as a link. So I know that's confusing, but you're going to add it as a link. So if I had like a relevant databases box, instead of adding it as a database like you see here, I'm going to add it as a link. So select link. And then you can actually right click here. So I right click and copy link address, okay? And then I come back over here and put this here. And you are gonna have to use your proxy, and I would open it in a new window. And then what you can do is copy and paste the name of the database. So I'll do that, put that right there. Sport Discus with full text, and I'll just put a sports database. Again, this is very crudely constructed. You're going to have to do a better job than what I'm doing right now. But this is how you would add your databases. And then once you do that, as you can see, once I click that, that does send me to the login to the database. So that's how you add the databases. Add them as links, not as databases, but you can mark them as databases, and I'll recognize that they're databases and act accordingly. And then let's also say I want it to do as a database, I think it's Sports Track. Yeah, Sports Track. So let's say I wanted to do this, and this is an open web database that for some reason is not opening right now. What is going on? Okay, Sports Track didn't open for me. I'm just going to use PFF, Pro Football Focus, as the database then. And so this would be a closed database because it actually does require sign in and sign up. But let's say I wanted to add this in that same box. Again, I would just put a link, database, link URL. I'll put it there. There's no need for a proxy on this one. I'm still going to open it in a new window in Pro Football Focus. Database with stats and other information on players in their performance. All right, and then I've got that. And one thing that I can do is, now that there is another piece in this box, I can put PFF at the top of the box, at the bottom of the box, or right after Sport Discus. If you put it at the bottom of the box, it's going to stay at the bottom of the box, and stuff you add will be on top of it. But if you put it after after Sport Discus with full text in this case, or whatever databases you already have in the box, whatever content you already have in the box, then things that you add will default under it, not on top of it. So I hope that makes sense. And then you've got that going. Now let's say, and last night I noticed that there aren't any more books in Mizzou's database about the Carolina Panthers, or in their catalog, I should say, about the Carolina Panthers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back out here. They do have like one media guide, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to search for specific books on the NFL. Oh yeah, that's right. So let me do books and media, NFL here, and I'm going to show you how this works once I put one in there. Again, okay. Wait, why is my stuff not? All right, so I am doing all of this so that I'm doing all this very crudely, but just so you all can get the basic gist, and then from there, you're probably going to have to do some discovery. But like, let's say, okay, I've got this book. And so what I can do when it comes to adding books is I can go into this record, and I can, so let's say I add, and I am going to add book from the catalog. I can grab the ISBN, and once I grab the ISBN, then things are going to kind of automatically populate here, so you'll see that in a second. So I grab this ISBN, and then I select Get Book Info, and most of what I have here now is, again, automatically populating. If you have a description that is too long, as this one is, then yes, find some way to summarize it. Sometimes it's as simple as just cropping it. But if it's not as simple as just cropping it, then find the appropriate way to fix what you got going on. Permanent link, got this right here, URL. So you can put that link in there, and then with the call number, if you have call numbers, add them. I've got the call number here, so I am going to add it, put it right there, call number, bada bing. And again, I guess you can use proxy for this. I don't think it's going to matter too much with this one, and I'll leave this one at the top of the box. You can do the hover if you want. That's up to you. That's a design choice. It's all good with me if you do or don't. And then you have that, and you put that there, okay? And then you can add web links pretty much the same way that you add these here. And if you wanted to add a specific, let's say that here in the players box, let's say I wanted to, all right, so let's say you have a player, so I'm doing this just kind of like this here, and let's say that I just wanted to do something within the database, grab like information about Christian McCaffrey from the database, right? Let's say I went to Academic Search Complete actually to do this, and I just wanted to add directly a magazine article about Christian McCaffrey. What I could do is I could go to all of this here, bada bada bing, and let me just put in his name, Christian McCaffrey. Click search. I hope something will pop up. Mr. Everything, running back Christian McCaffrey. I believe this is actually before he got drafted. So yeah, this was before he got drafted, but it's a good, it's a nice 7-page article. So hey, so I can go into this record, right? And then pretty much the process is the same. If I wanted to make a particular article, what I was focusing on, then I could add in, instead of doing, you might be tempted to do like document file, but that's really something for the most part to upload things from your computer, which you can do as well. I would go ahead and again do a link here. And so from here, I can grab my permalink. It is proxied, so I'll need to remember to do proxy yes, Mr. Everything. I'll probably again open a new window. Description, you can probably just, a lot of times you can just rob your description from the abstract. Go for copy, bada boom, and do that right there. And then we've got a creation. And actually, even this might be a little too long, but this is what we've got here. Okay. So I did this very crudely just to show you all, very basically what you can and should be doing here. Once you finish, but again, you're going to have to do a lot more. This is just bare bones getting you started, the very bare bones of getting you started. You have a preview option here. So from here, I can preview everything, see how it looks. Obviously, if you turn in something that looks like this, you're not going to get a good grade, but this is the beginning of something. And from there, yeah, you just keep tooling at the design until you come up with something great. And then once you have come up with your greatness, then, okay, then you can come back here and publish. So you can change status and share, make it published, and that sort of thing. And again, after I've graded them, if you want to make it private again, you can definitely do that. The libguides are going to stay in the system for a while, so you can actually hold on to those, hold on to your link, and you can use those as some of your materials for applying for jobs in the future. Okay, so yeah, 37 minutes here. I'm going to cut this off again. Just go out there, find the information. Make it a discovery process, a treasure hunt. Find the information online. It's going to be great if you do. Use that to your advantage. Get it done. You'll be happy. And yeah, just don't stress about this because again, I had that class where the students are just freaking out, and there was this big snowball effect with them just asking question after question after question. I think they wound up overthinking themselves into a tizzy. They confused themselves. They got frustrated. They turned in the worst libguides. Again, I won't say what semester that happened, but it did happen. The fall 2019 semester where I showed you all an example from them, they were one of the opposites. They did have questions, but they didn't have the snowball effect with the questions, and they turned in some of the best. I remember quite firmly. And the thing is, the assignment has not changed, folks. The assignment has not changed. So I am looking at how the class reacts to the assignment, and that can be an issue of what causes frustration as much as the assignment itself. So keep all of that in mind. I'm glad I re-recorded this and didn't show the video that I showed last night because I was in a place of my own last night, and I'm glad that you all were not exposed to that. So having said that, a more upbeat Dr. Jace today. As always, I'm Dr. Jace, peace and grace. Hopefully soon after vaccinations, we won't have to quarantine in place. But for right now, continue following those CDC guidelines, and I'm out.